Hi again, it's Jason from Fraser Valley Rose Farm. I'm back with my January installment of Rose Care month by month, and I acknowledge you're going to get a lot of mixed messages right now on social media. I just saw somebody say it's bare root season, time to get your bare root roses into the ground. And the problem is, of course, how do you apply that to your climate? For where they're saying it, it may be perfectly valid. If you're talking about Florida, California, maybe some of the coastal southern states where you're trying to get them in before it gets warm for the season. But for most northern temperate climates, including my own, the risk of deep freezing is still too high. So it's too early for me to prune my roses yet. It's still too early for me to plant roses yet. At this point, the only thing I'm really focused on is protecting the roses that I already have on the ground. So doing some of those protection measures and maybe some light sanitation. So instead of me just saying wait, I am going to, for the sake of completeness, go through the topics I normally go through in this video, give you some quick notes, but keeping in mind that this is a bookmark. Generally, I start everything up in February. It might be later in other climates, but that's when I'm going to give you the instructional information on how to prune, why to prune, and all of that. But for this month, it really is take care of the ones you have on the ground, light sanitation, and that's about it. So I thought I'd use the section on soil and fertilizer, and I guess I should say mulch, to answer a question from last month. I had mentioned getting wood chips delivered in preparation for replacing your mulch around the garden, and somebody at a garden club asked the, I think, quite good question of, do I really need to change my mulch every year? And the answer to that is no. Of course, it's conditional. It's based on the sanitation in your garden. So looking at this rose here, I can already see, and I'll give you a close-up, that it is actually still holding on to some leaves that have both powdery mildew and black spot on them, and I recall it being quite troubled last year. So getting a replacement or a cleanup of the mulch and the leaves, especially getting the leaves out from underneath it, and maybe scraping away some of that mulch and replacing it with brand new mulch, gives it a clean start into the season. So I'm focused on those roses that have given me troubles with foliar diseases in the past year. In that group, I would consider things like the old Bourbon roses, Variegata de Bologna, or Baron Gerard de Laine, which is a hybrid perpetual, are just always covered in foliar disease in my garden. I may not be able to stop the disease, but replacing the mulch may give me a head start at avoiding it. However, if you have a modern hybrid rose that is quite disease resistant, something like Julia Child or the Knockout series, and it's growing relatively cleanly in your garden, you may consider skipping a year on replacing the mulch, or just replacing the mulch as needed for cosmetic purposes and for moisture retention, but not actually removing and replacing each year. Next, I'd like to use the section on watering to talk about the question, how would I know when to water roses in containers over the winter? Now, these are obviously just pots in my greenhouse, but if you were looking at a larger container that you were keeping in the shed or in your garage over the winter, or just tucked up against the side of the house, the question of how dry should you let it get, and it depends on how cold it's going to be. So I mentioned last month that I managed them a bit on the dry side until I'm expecting deep cold, and we're expecting some deep cold this week. So I wanted to get some water into these pots. So like looking at this here, I can feel, and this goes to weight on this pot. You obviously couldn't do this on a big clay pot, but by weight I can tell this has a lot of water in it. Now let's confirm that with a visual inspection, and from top to bottom this is dark brown. I don't need it necessarily this wet. Let's look at some other examples just to see what the range is, and this is actually kind of instructive because different pots, even right beside each other, have different levels of moisture depending on how much they've been drawing the moisture, how dry they were before the watering, and so on. This one here feels a little bit lighter. It is dark across the bottom, but it has a lighter patch across the top. That's actually pretty close to perfect. It has a good amount of moisture in the pot. I would call this medium heavy, and it should resist any kind of deep freezing desiccation or drying out relatively easily. Now this pot over here, I actually walked around a little bit to see if I could find any trouble ones here, and this one here is a lot lighter. It actually, it's you know, you can perceive that very easily by lifting the pot. And if you look at this one here, it still has a darker ring across the bottom here, but it's in the bottom third of the pot, and all of this soil across the top here is relatively dry. So I'm not concerned or freaked out about this one here. It still has some moisture in the pot, but it's the one that I would be watching for the next watering. And certainly as you're going through this, spot checking and topping up on those that are lighter, that's the way to go. For the propagation section here, let's talk about what's happening in the indoor room here. You can see I've got some seeds germinating here. So I'm trying to balance the conditions between those roses that I stuck by cuttings late last season. I'm talking October, November, and even into the beginning of December, and they have rooted and they are sending fresh new growth. But the problem is, of course, that I don't want them pushing a lot of growth and becoming very hard to manage. And the balance I'm trying to run is that I want the seedlings to germinate and develop, but I don't want the roses to go into runaway growth. So I'm maintaining it at a temperature in here about 20 degrees Fahrenheit, which supports the germination, but that's not super pushing the roses. So that's about 68 degrees Fahrenheit. And yeah, going through with them in active growth becomes kind of a problem because there are pests that come up in here. So I'm currently monitoring and finding aphids, spider mites, and fungus gnats all in this room right now. So it's kind of one of those things where it's a good thing. I've got grow lights, I've got great growing conditions, I've got roses on the bench, but it's also kind of a difficulty, and I can't wait to get these things outdoors so that I can pay them a little less attention than I am right now. I'm returning to this rose here, the one that I showed you with the smutty looking leaves, to talk about the pests and disease portion of this video and talking about the light sanitation that I discussed at the intro of the video. Light sanitation in this case means that I'm not approaching this looking to do my final pruning for the year, but I do note that it's still holding on to leaves, and that's a habit that many roses will have. Being kind of a semi-evergreen or tropical genetics, they will hold their leaves way late into the winter opportunistically, kind of hoping for a turn in the weather and they can just hold on to their leaves. But because these leaves are smutty, they have the black spot and powdery mildew, I'd rather strip them off. And indeed, I'd like to get rid of some of these flowers that are sitting over here holding on to botrytis. Just the tips, the leaves, the stems, just clean off this thing and leave it empty. Now, there's a choice of when you can do this. You could wait until you do your final pruning for the year, your structural pruning, at the end of winter, beginning of spring, and do this all in one step. The reason I'm approaching this now is because I have an opportunity on a clear day like this, a dry day, to do some dormant spray. So I have a different video on that. I'll link that above. But the idea would be to strip this all down, leave the stems bare, and then to do a dormant spray with something like lime sulfur or dormant oil or Bordeaux mix, copper-based fungicides, just to give it a clean journey into the season. And you can do that once during the winter, during dormancy like this, deep dormancy, and you can do it again at the time of pruning. So that's the opportunity I'm talking about here, is just doing some sanitation. Now, would you do this to every rose in your collection? Not necessarily. Once again, I would focus this at the ones that give you the most trouble in the garden. As I wrap up the video, here it is my tradition to highlight or spotlight a rose that I want to show off. Obviously, I don't have anything in bloom today, so I get a free hand in picking whatever rose I want, so I'm choosing to highlight the rose Hot Cocoa for all the classic reasons. The fragrance, so-so, the bloom form doesn't hold perfectly, but the color, gorgeous. Love this rose, very upright, in bloom all the time. So check out Hot Cocoa if you haven't already. All right, that's it for the video. Right down to the point of hold off and wait. In most northern temperate climates right now, it's good to wait until February or beyond, based on the risks in your own climate. Next month, I'll be showing you how to prune. So thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, please drop them down below the video. I'll see what I can do to help.